Amie, An African Adventure by Lucinda E. Clark. An excerpt read by Gabi Plumm. They came for her soon after the sun's first rays appeared over the distant hills. She heard their footsteps echo on the bare concrete floors and curled into a ball, praying, "No, no, please, not again." Would they beat her again? What did they want her to say? She couldn't take much more. She just wanted to die, escape the torture and slide into oblivion. The fat one was the first to appear. She knew he was important. The gold braid and medals told everyone he was a powerful man, a man it would be dangerous to cross. The others dragged her to her feet, bound her wrists behind her back, and shoved her up the steps to the ground floor. Would they turn left towards the room where they beat her, making her sit for hours without water, wanting answers she didn't have? She had drifted in and out of consciousness, all sense of reality gone. Her former life was a blur. It was too late to mark the walls to record how long they'd kept her there. But this time they didn't turn left. They turned right instead and pulled her towards an opening at the far end. Bright sunlight reflected off the cracked and peeling walls outside, and for a second she thought they were going to let her go. Muffled shouts from the street outside told her the market stall holders were haggling as usual. Even if they'd known of her plight, would they have given her a second thought? Why should they care? She didn't belong here. Only a few years ago she'd never even heard of them or their country. But that life could have been a million miles away, for they were far beyond her reach now. Hope flared again. Her captors had realized she'd done nothing wrong, and the nightmare was over at last. They pulled her towards the light. The closer they got, the more her hopes rose. She was going home. When they pushed her through the arch, she screwed up her eyes against the bright sun, but when she opened them, it was clear they were in a bare courtyard, surrounded on all sides by high walls. There was no other exit. Then she saw the stake in the ground on the far side, and they dragged her roughly towards it. The skinny one pushed her against the post, tying a long piece of material around her chest, which fixed her firmly to the stake. She was horrified to see wide brown stains in the dust at her feet. Not freedom. This was the end. She squeezed her eyes shut, determined not to cry or to beg for mercy. The sound of marching feet forced them open again. More armed men lined up to face her. They were a rough-looking bunch, their uniforms stained, their boots unpolished, but their guns were shiny. She was trembling all over. She didn't know whether to keep her eyes open to see what awaited her or close them and pretend this was just a terrible, terrible dream. Part of her wanted it to end now, but another wanted to scream, "I'm innocent! I'm innocent! Please, let me live!" The fat man barked commands. The guns were broken open, and he handed out the ammunition. Then, with the safety catches off, they shuffled into position. To her horror, she felt a warm trickle running down the inside of her thighs. At the end, she had lost both her control and her dignity. She glanced up at the fluffy white clouds above her as the order was given to fire.